Hello friends, I'm gonna wait for all of you to join. Okay, thanks Sarah. Okay, telling everybody to jump on. Sorry we're a bit late, but I hope that you guys saw my messages so you have a little bit of like a warning and whatnot that things are happening. Hello everybody, I haven't done a live in a while. I'm so excited to do one. Jelly says hello, we're in my office. We are rocking the working at home vibe look today because first day of zoo period. My ear holes are infected, like my earring holes are infected from wearing real like gold earrings, and I'm actually allergic to copper and gold. So yeah, you know when like the earring like stick doesn't have gold on it and then some do? The ones that do have gold on it infect my ears, and the ones that don't. So I need to like go get them like shaved or something. Anyway, hello. Yep, drinks cabinet there. Yep, we're all set up. Drinks are also right here on the desk. Sometimes it's needed with living in New York. Okay, so guys, for today's live, I want to get deep. I want to get juicy. So you guys can leave me your questions in the question box. Oh, it's up there for you guys maybe, I think. You can leave it in the question box, or you can just leave it in the comment. If it's a long question, leave it in the comment. Let's roll for like say half an hour-ish, and I'll answer as many juicy questions as I can, and then I will get on with my day. It has seemed though that lately a lot of you guys have been asking me kind of questions about like hardships and like the hard stuff with business and the lows. And I love that you're asking me this because you guys know that I'm like super happy to be real with you. And I definitely feel like on Instagram sometimes with like personal development world and business and stuff, it can always just seem like it's easy, especially with the feminine stuff. It can seem like all you have to do is, like I said in that title of the podcast, masturbate and then you get a million clients, and that's just not the case, especially in the beginning. Right, so let's get deep and juicy. So I've got a few questions here that you guys left in my Instagram stories. But yeah, please leave your questions below so I can answer them, because I do want to answer them. And if you don't leave a question, then I can't help you. Okay, so one of the first questions is, can I start a business still harboring some trauma, or do I have to clear it all before starting one? So there is like, there's two answers to this. Answer one is that it doesn't feel in alignment for me when I see people that are coaches that are say like helping people feel confident, but they don't feel confident, or they are, helping people feel pleasure, but they don't have a pleasurable life, right? Or helping people to make 7 figures, but they haven't made 7 figures. Like that personally for me doesn't feel like in alignment. So when it kind of comes to that side of the question for this question, if you are harboring trauma and you're trying to help people like live a better life through life coaching or whatever, I would be saying that is a lack of integrity. So don't be surprised if you struggle to get clients because you're not in integrity. If you're running like a hat making business and you have trauma, like that's fine. Unless the trauma is holding you back, then obviously you want to clear that trauma so that you're not feeling held back. But if you're in a hat making business and you still have some trauma, don't feel like you have to clear the trauma before you can start your business, right? And this isn't about you have to be perfect before you can start any business. It's never like that. You don't need to be perfect to start your business. It's just that you want to make sure that you feel in integrity with what you are doing, because if you don't, that will make you feel like that whole fraud imposter thing. You will then feel like a fraud and imposter because you're not in integrity. Does that make sense, everybody? So don't feel like you need to be perfect before you go into business. By no means what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that if your trauma is holding you back and you feel that, then yes, fix your trauma so that you can have a thriving business with ease. But if your trauma is something that you just need to kind of, that you don't have the ability to work on at the moment or whatever it is, and you're able to just be like, I'll deal with that later, I'll put a pin in it and keep working on your hat making business, then keep working on your hat making business, if that makes sense, right? It depends on each situation. So if you want to ask me about your situation, then I can tell you. Okay, Next question is, made 70K so far, but the last few launches have flopped. Any suggestions? So I'm going to say that you've made 70K like in the year or something, and the last few launches have flopped. Any suggestions? When it comes to launches and stuff, you really want to think about like what is really pleasurable and what is like in a receiver energy when you're launching. If you're constantly outputting all the time, I'd be fucking exhausted and I wouldn't want to be launching things, right? Whenever I'm launching stuff, I'm very much, especially when I've launched it multiple times already, and there's a lot of social proof, I'm very much in the mindset and in the energy of like, the people that want to join, they know they want to join. I'm not going to sit here and fucking try and prove myself to them. Like, that's not my fucking job. If they don't want to get off their ass and do something, that's my fucking problem. And what that means is launches are a lot less exhausting for me, one, and it also means that I'm able to sit in that receiver energy rather than constantly being an output energy. And I'm not gonna fucking try and convince someone. Like, if they don't wanna work on themselves, then I don't wanna help them because I can't help them. If they're gonna stay in victim, or if they're gonna stay in like, oh, I just want a magic pill kind of energy, I can't help them. So I don't even want them to be my client because it will make my life really fucking challenging because I wanna help everybody. And if I feel like I can't help someone because they're not helping themselves, it's very infuriating to me and very energetically draining, if that makes sense. I love my clients when they are vulnerable, when they are open, when they're asking me questions, when they are communicating with me, all that jazz, because I'm like, oh, I can help you. And that's what obviously I love doing. So a lot of people, they do launches with this crazy like structure and strategy, and that does not work for me. We flow, right? I do put things in Asana of like ideas of things to post, la la la. But like, if I change my mind, I'll just change my mind and do something else. If it doesn't feel in alignment for that day, then I won't do that thing. I'll do something else. So everything always has to feel in alignment when I'm doing a launch. And I'm also like, I'm always like surrendering and knowing that the universe has got my back and is giving me the best results always, even if my ego doesn't think in this moment, this is the best result. So if one launch was, not as successful, quote unquote, like what even is that word? It was not as successful as a previous launch. I don't make that mean something about me. I'm like, oh, okay, I only actually have the energetic capacity for this many women right now. I don't even know that, but the universe knows that. And like when I've surrendered to that, I've always been grateful for it, because like sometimes what will happen is if like one program is smaller than the previous round, it actually allows me to take on a few extra one-on-one clients, which I love. And if I had a bigger round, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And then I can help, like for some reason, a few more women come in than normal and they really needed a few extra one-on-one sessions than what you say get in Baba, you get one. Maybe I have like 3 people that need 3 extras, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta now fit them into my calendar. So I then can't take on 3 more people in Baba, if that makes sense. So like it's always working out in your favor, even if at the given time you don't think it's working out in your favor, if that makes sense. Has the light just dimmed? My light just went down on my phone. I don't know whether it was like, I don't know whether you guys can still see me or not. It's gotten quite dark. Let me know. So yeah, trust that however the launch is going is how it's actually meant to go. Like don't push yourself in scarcity energy. Stay in the energy of the people that know they want to work with you, and you don't want clients that don't want to work with you because they will be annoying. Okay. All right, cool. Thanks, Emma. Okay. Okay. Trauma around growing up in poverty, should that be cleared before being able to make money? It depends how it's showing up in your life. So this is a great question, and you guys can relate it to anything money-wise that you grew up with. So if it's clear to you that your trauma around money is showing up because you, for example, you don't follow people up when they haven't paid your invoice, you underprice yourself, you overwork yourself, and it creates resentment for like doing those things for your clients, and you wish that you could charge them more, or you wish that you would be able to like have the guts to follow up on invoices or whatever it is, but you don't, then I would be saying that that's showing up pretty predominantly, and you probably are going to create resentment towards your business, towards yourself and your clients. So you should then clear that. if you are aware of that, but you're like, I'm not living that out anymore, it's not my story, and you're not actively living it out, I would say that I wouldn't be as stressed about having to do that before you start a business. Like, start the business and still work on that, because it will eventually come up. And it sometimes won't come up in money ways, it can come up in other ways, for example. Because money is never really about money, it's always about something else. It's about deserving, it's about feeling safe to ask for more, it's about worthiness, it's about, like, am I allowed this? It's about getting in trouble, it's about fear of people taking stuff away from you, that kind of stuff, right? So if there's like a fear of like, if I make money, it's gonna get taken away from me, then that could really be stopping you from making money. Or it could be, you know, making you self-sabotage your business, and therefore that is something that you need to work on, like, before you start your business. It depends how it's showing up, would be like how much of a importance is it for you to fix now rather than in 2 months time, for example. I'm loving these questions, guys. Give me the juicy ones. I get advice that I need to pay my dues with free content before having offerings. What are your thoughts? I get advice that I need to pay my dues with free content before having offerings. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming you're asking me, should I have free content before having offerings? 1000%. If you don't have free content, how are people gonna know that you're good and then even want to work with you, right? Like, if you're just all of a sudden gonna start selling, but there's no way for people to actually like build that know, like, a trust factor, then how would they know they want to buy from you? They're not going to know, right? So think about it with my business, right? You guys listen to my podcast, listen to my Instagram, you read my Instagram, you maybe watch my Instagram stories, you watch the lives, and all of that adds up to be like, I feel like I know Monica, I feel like I like Monica, I feel like I trust Monica. She really knows what she's talking about. I've seen the social proof from Monica. Okay, now I'm going to buy from her. Right? You don't just see me and then buy. You see me, you stalk a little bit, and then you buy. Now, for some people, that process has looked like 4 years. I've had some people where they've literally followed me for like 3-4 years, from like when I was a fucking food blogger, and they've only just joined Queen Alchemy, for example, or just joined Baba. And then I have other people that found me, and within a week they joined a certification, which is the highest offering, or they joined my one-on-one coaching, which is even higher, like, which is an even bigger investment, because they just went like all in and stalked the fuck out of me and binged me for 2 weeks. So that process can vary for every person. But the overarching thing is that you have to have the content for people to binge, know they even want to work with you. Okay. I'm going to delete some of these questions. Hold on a second, because I know I've answered them from the question box. Do you need a following before you start a business? I answered this in one of the recent podcast episodes, so you can go listen to that, because I answered that in detail there. hold on, I'm just going to plug my, hey Sarah, could you grab my adapter in my bathroom for me, like where my toothbrush is? I'm just gonna plug this light in, guys, because the sun has made my phone go really dark, so I can't even see the questions. I have a hard time with all these coaches chasing money. Everything seems to be about money, and of course I want to be successful, but the materialness around it, I'm not connecting with. More experience than what I want. Is that just my money blocks or authentic? No. I've mentioned this before in one of my episodes. I can't remember which episode it is, but everyone has a different motivating factor when it comes to money and when it comes to abundance. So thank you. Everyone, this is Sarah. Everyone has a different motivating factor when it comes to money and a different top priority. So for example, some people's top priority is comfort. One of my top priorities is comfort, which is why I spend a lot of money on my home and my environment, right? And staying at nice hotels and all that jazz. But then other people's top priority could be adventure. It could be, other people's top priority could be donating to Mother Earth. It could be having the flexibility to only work 3 days a week because the other 3 days a week or 2 days a week, they want to volunteer. So everyone's priority is just different. I can't even see the fucking screen still. I'm just gonna open this live on my laptop, my iPad. If it will show up, I'll go onto Jelly's account. Oh no, then I can't see the questions. Damn it, oh well. yeah, everyone's priorities are going to be different around money. That's not a money block if it's like real in your heart. That's just what you want to do with your money, that's all. Versus other people, they feel really amazing and alive when they buy like a beautiful handbag, for example. And I also want to preface that for some people that doesn't mean that they don't want to do other things. Like my number one need is comfort, but that doesn't mean that I don't like adventure or that I don't like other things. That's just what I'm showing on my Instagram. So also remember that you are allowed to show what you want on your Instagram, and that doesn't mean that you can't have multiple priorities when it comes to the reason why you'd like to make money, for example. But I still can't see shit. Okay. Next question. Okay. Cool. Okay, how do you show up for your ideal client on here and not get overwhelmed by wanting to help everyone? Boundaries. When someone sends me a long DM of like, here are my issues, like I would love your advice, I'm like, I don't give free advice to you, this is my podcast. Like, I don't want to help everybody on my Instagram. Like that's, I've had to learn that the hard way, and I am so cutthroat with that when it comes to my Instagram, and it's taken me a while to get there. But I do want to help everybody, but they have to want to help themselves. And I really come to that kind of place in my heart where, of course, I want to help everyone. Everyone knows that I am here with open arms to help them. Hence, I do so much free shit. And if they are not willing to invest in themselves and to show up for themselves, then I literally cannot help them, because I don't give a magic pill. It feels like I give a magic pill to some people, and to me it even feels like I do sometimes, but I don't give a magic pill because they have to come to the session open to my modalities. They have to come to the session open to the fact that they need to let themselves break and crumble and let themselves be vulnerable and messy and all that kind of stuff. And if they're not going to surrender to my processes and to trust me, I literally cannot help them, full stop. Like if someone's in victim, can't help them. We have a boundary, actually. Some of you guys might know about this. I wrote about it on Instagram when I was in like Tulum. One of our boundaries is that as a team is that if you have been emailing us for more than 14 days and you haven't made a decision, and it's been like back and forth, and you're asking like questions because you're not trusting yourself, or you're not trusting me, we actually say you're not ready. Like come back when it's a fuck yes kind of thing. So it's just about boundaries, honestly, Tegan. It's literally just, I do want to help everybody, and I am not going to help people for free besides what I will offer on my podcast and everything. And if they want more, then they need to pay for it, full stop. Because that's respecting me, it's respecting my paying clients and my past clients that have paid, and it's also respecting the fact that they need to show up for themselves. Okay. Love that question, so juicy. Lauren, how to get more clear on your message and who you want to help. There is maybe you didn't see the Flash IGTV about channeling your offering in X, Y, and Z. When it comes to getting clear on your message and who you want to help and all that jazz, that took me so long. It took me fucking time, but I just started and I kept going, right? A lot of girls have said that they came to Baba like not knowing what the fuck to do, but doing it and just continuously showing up, they've gotten really clear. Even they've gotten clearer a year later because Baba kind of like opened everything up for them, so they were able to actually hear and see and feel what their message was that they couldn't access beforehand. There's a few beforehand. I'm just going to scroll up. What's your best tips for management? To prioritize. So what someone's gonna, like, who's gonna die if I don't get this done? Like, what's an actual fucking priority? Knowing my energy levels and knowing the repercussions of overworking. So like, even if I have to really do something, but I know that I'm gonna be fucking, not able to wake up in the morning because I'll be so tired that I won't do it, that kind of thing. And then other things for management is, like running to-do lists, like just writing things down all the time. Sarah actually said to me yesterday, we had a review meeting, and I was like, you're so organized. Like, I hope that it's like, please tell me, like, is there anything that I need to be doing for you? I know that I'm really unorganized, and appreciate that you just work with it. And she was like, you're not unorganized, like you don't strike me as that. I was like, really? You know me, I just like have stuff everywhere and you just kind of put it together. She was like, well, yeah, you might have stuff everywhere, but you remember every fucking detail. Like you remember things from 6 months ago that you said to me once for 10 seconds. And I'm like, that is true. So I would also say with management is the more that you practice and the more that you you can't let your body get stressed and overwhelmed with having a lot in your head. You can't let your body get stressed and overwhelmed with having a lot in your head. And I'll show you guys how in Baba. And I've really adapted to just having a lot of stuff going on, and I don't allow for it to get stressed. I prioritize. I know that me laying out in the sun for half an hour is going to rejuvenate me and it's going to help me long term and make me more productive. And I'm also not a perfectionist. And that is a big, big, big thing, I would say, with running a business, is that you have to learn how to not be a perfectionist. If you are one, get out of it. Like you need to learn how to not do it. And I'll show you how to feel safe in not doing it in Baba. You need to stop being a perfectionist, because if you are constantly like trying to make everything perfect, you will get nothing fucking done. I mean, you guys know I'm not. I'm fucking typo queen, because I'm just like type done, boom, out, right? Next. Oh, she's taking pictures. I was like, does she need something? Okay. Next question is, what's your thought process for deciding what you put out there free versus your paid content? I go into this in great detail in Baba. So to not give away the paid stuff that girls pay for, I'm going to say that it's like an education versus a how-to, basically. Education, free. How-to, not free. Cool. Like think about it like this. A lot of you guys become self-aware of things in my podcast. You might become aware of things and that can help you to like change a few habits. But I don't give you any modalities. I don't fix your trauma. I don't get you out of a trauma cycle from listening to my podcast. But you do that when you work with me, right? So podcast, I'm like making you guys super self-aware. And then when you work with me, everything gets fixed. So you don't even have to be aware of like, oh, don't do that anymore. That's a pattern. We're breaking the pattern. It like is no longer a thing at all, if that makes sense. Right? I'll give you an example of that. One of my one-on-one clients, they're redoing their house. And she's had a very, 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 very traumatic childhood, like more than what most people would even consider as like a traumatic childhood. And she said to me, she sent me a box the other day being like, oh my gosh, Monica, like you're so right about how just like I don't even have to like think about like don't do this pattern or don't buy into this, or like yes, like focus, like we're not doing that anymore, like breathe. They had like some paint stuff up or something rather, and she's like, that's fine, just change it, rip it off the wall and just do it again. And she realized afterwards like, whoa, the old me would have had a meltdown. She wouldn't have known what to do. She would have just flipped out at everybody and like just stormed out of the room, and she didn't even have to tell herself, calm down. She's like, Monica, I didn't even have to calm myself down. I was just like, it's fine, rip it off, let's just do another thing. And she was just blown away by that. And that's kind of a little example of like, you don't need to remind yourself a million times, like don't do something. You just like become something that you don't do. Okay, next question. Is not showing up for your business laziness or a trauma response? Depends how you're not showing up. If you're like, I'm tired, I need time alone, or I need to switch off, then that's not laziness, that's you honoring your fucking body. If you are procrastinating, if you're filling your calendar with 1,000,001 things to do, if you don't have the discipline to just sit down and get shit done, that would probably be more trauma around the masculine, which a lot of women have. Obviously, a lot of women have trauma around men, which is then trauma around the masculine. So they have a lot of trouble with self-discipline and just being able to like sit down and get something fucking done because they know it needs to get done. And that is in essence a trauma response. So it depends on the situation, but hopefully that kind of answers it. Okay. How to get back into flow, feminine receivership when you're in a funk. Stop trying to figure out how. Let yourself have the funk, let yourself feel the funk. It will cleanse itself naturally, and then you will be back into receivership when it's the right time for you. Okay, what program of yours is for trauma healing? Queen Alchemy has the most amount of trauma healing. Queen Alchemy does absolutely no business stuff. So if you need trauma healing more so for your business, then Baba. If you need trauma healing for personal stuff, then Queen Alchemy. Okay. Loving these questions. Okay, oh my God, I'm faster than you guys. Speed up, ask me more questions. Let me scroll up and see if I've missed any. Let me just scroll up, otherwise leave me more. Leave me juicy ones. You know I love them. Okay, another one. Oh, where is it? It says one's popped up. Hold on a sec. Where's it gone? Oh, it's so weird. Okay. Sensitive issue, is it right to charge friends for your services? Yes, I charge my mum for my services. She charges me. This is such a good question. I'm so glad someone asked this. So good. Okay. So is it right to charge friends for your services? This is a loaded question, right? Because people think they have to give mates rates, la la la, blah blah blah. I mean, let's say it depends on the fucking industry, right? Depends on like what you're doing. So generally, no. If I was, what's an example? Okay, if I'm speaking in a friend's mastermind, for example, and it is like just sharing about my business story, like pretty chill, like they're just like, Monica, just like talk for an hour, then I won't charge them the same as if someone else asked me to come in and do like healing modalities and I don't know the women at all, so it's a lot more like preparation, there's more energy involved in it because I can't just like vibe with my friends. Then I would charge my regular price for them at like a little bit less for friends because I'm like, oh, this will be fun, like I get to hang out with you guys for an hour. When it comes to like one-on-one coaching, Queen Alchemy, Baba, client check-in circles, MMM, Be Love Not a Mother, all those other things, they are the same price everyone. My mom has done my mastermind, my mom has done Baba, I've had friends that have done Baba, I have friends that have done Queen Alchemy, I have friends that have done my mastermind, I have friends and I've got neighbors and I've got family members that have bought MMM, same with friends that have bought Be Love Not a Mother. I have so many of my friends that have bought my stuff and I never give them discounts. Why? Because then they will show up discounted for themselves. So I'm not doing that and I will resent it. So I don't want to resent them. And my mom, she charges me, right? She's my interior designer. She's done all of this. Like I paid her a lot of money to do my apartment and my dad was like, no, like my dad's got money stuff, which is fine, still on. No, you shouldn't charge your daughter. And I'm like, Mom, if you don't fucking charge me, I'm gonna get pissed. I'm like, charge me. It's sexy to pay for my fucking interior designer. And like she understood that because she's worked with me. So she was like, yeah, I want you to pay me. And I really had to say to her because like she was like, is it okay? Like I do feel a little bit bad. I'm like, Mom, I want to pay for an interior designer. It is sexy to be like, I paid for this. It is sexy to invest in yourself. It is sexy to be like, I paid for this thing. Because you know what you're saying? I value myself. I value my environment. I value my apartment and I value my mom. I could never be an interior designer. I didn't realize how hard this job was. And I wrote about this in this issue of the magazine, the one that's out at the moment. So you can read the whole article. I didn't realize how hard it was to put like an apartment together for interior design until I work with my mom. I mean, I can't even be on the phone on FaceTime with her for 5 minutes because I get so frustrated by like, no, you gotta move this a little bit to the left, that's not balanced, wait, hold on, stay there. Like, I've got no patience for that shit. I have the worst ideas. I said to her, can we put firewood underneath the TV cabinet? There's like holes where books go. You'll see it in the apartment tour when we do it. And she's like, Jesus, fuck, you are so bad with taste. And I like to think that I'm good, but I'm not. I have an appreciation for spaces, but I'm not good at pulling it together. So I value other people's expertise. I value my own time. Like this has taken so much time and like I'm not even doing it myself, right? So I also value my own time and I want to hire someone else so that I save time and energy and mistakes for myself. You end up saving money because you save yourself mistakes. So to answer your question, on is it right to charge friends for your services? Abso-fucking-lutely, and I think it is wrong to not charge friends for your services, and I think it's so wrong to not pay friends for their services because if they're your friends, you should be valuing them and valuing their time and valuing their expertise and valuing their services. And if you want other people to value you, you need to value other people, full stop, right? You saw the text from my mom. honey, how can I pay you for last night's circle? She like joined last minute, so she couldn't pay last night because it's like Australia time, right? So she phoned me the night beforehand. She's like, how can I pay? The link's not working, so I think we're too close to the time. And she's like, then I'll be asleep when like Sarah sends the invoice and then the close at 6 a.m. I'm like, that's fine. I'll get Sarah to send you the link and we can sort it out after. So she's like, how can I pay you for the 99 for the client check-in circle, right? Because she values that 1 hour. She's like, I feel so much lighter. I mean, you guys saw the messages. So she values me, I value her. So I pay her just like she pays me, and my friends pay me just like I pay my friends. The end. Thank you, Emma. Look at that bar. Yeah, I know, it's pretty good. How to not feel pressure to always do more, learn more, etc. when you know that free time and rest is more important for you right now, fear of falling behind. Remember about quantum leaping, right? Remember about condensing time. Remember that you could take a month off, and then when you come back, you could have 3 months in what feels like 1 month. I was talking about this, Lisa, in my latest podcast I did. Like, I think it's just the one that I very, very recently did, like the one that went up yesterday. And I think it was that one. I was sitting in my bedroom recording it, and I say that in the beginning of it. So whatever that one was. And I literally realized on that podcast, like, whoa, yeah. If someone said to me, then like when I was like 18 or when I was 20, in 4 years time, you're going to be living in this apartment, doing this thing, making this much money, like having these people in your life, la la la, like all this stuff happening, I'd be like, my ego would be like, fuck yeah. But I'd be like, that's not gonna happen in 3 years time. And I realized sitting in that chair, like the shit that's happened to me in 3 years, good and bad, is just proof of condensing time. Maybe I should like write down every single high and low and just show you guys, like maybe a long ass list. And like that is proof in itself of the condensing of time. So take that month off, knowing that when you come back, you will condense time. That's why I take a week off. That's why I take my weekends off, because that time off allows me to condense time. Even in little examples, even 30 minutes lying in the sun means that next hour I'd be able to get way more done in that hour and condense time than if I worked for 2 hours and didn't have that break in the sun. I love paying my friends. Yay! What do you do if you agree with a friend, a price for a service, a contract is signed, but then they come back and ask for more? What do you do if you agree with a friend, a price for a service, a contract is signed, so they come back and they ask you to pay them more? I would handle it in a professional manner, just like the same way of like, okay, well, I've signed this contract for this amount, so like you're gonna find someone else and you're gonna get a refund from them, and you'll find someone else that will do it for the same price. Because you also don't want them to resent you if they want more, but also they need to figure that out in advance, right? So like that sometimes happens. People ask me of like, what happens when you like take on a coaching client, for example, and then a month into the contract you raise your prices, but like they're still at that initial price, obviously, and like you kind of wish that you had that higher price a month ago because that feels better for you. I'm like, that's something that you learn. You suck it up and you show up for them just as you would show up for the higher paying clients. You can't hold resentment towards them for something that you did. Like if that was your price that you asked for, that you chose, that's great that you've raised your prices. You cannot hold that against them because they didn't sign for more. So you can't put that energy on them, if that makes sense. I value my friend, but I don't feel comfortable in the situation, and it's my rent. Very awkward. Yeah, that is obviously a bit of a shitty situation. So I would try and handle it, Emma, in a really professional manner so that you can also try and separate that business and personal, and be respectful, hear her side, stay warm, stay curious, and just share with her like, that like, you know, you set this price, like I agreed on this price with you. I don't feel comfortable paying for more. Like if this is going to be an issue, I definitely don't want it to get in the way of the friendship. So if you do want someone to rent the place for that amount of money that you're now asking for, I respect that. I will go find elsewhere to live, and you can find a tenant that will move in on this price. And the way that you say it has to be like that, so it doesn't come across like blackmail. It's got to be like, no, like I respect that if you want it actually to be this price, I've agreed on this price with you, so if you're happy to give me a refund, I'm very happy to go and look for someone else. I'll look for somewhere else to live because I don't want this to get in the way of our friendship. And then you can find someone that is happy to live here at that price. Boom, done. Okay. All right, let's get to these last few ones. What do you think is the number one important thing to focus on in the first year of business? Consistency, so that you can build a habit for yourself of showing up in your business, and creating free, valuable content. That's 2 things, but there you go. Good question. Okay, if you're questioning your business after years, does that mean it's not your purpose? Well, it depends what you're questioning it about. I questioned my business after about 6 months of making money in when did I move to New York? Not New York, Sydney. I think I moved to Sydney 2018. So after about 6 months of making money in 2018, between like July and December, I think I made like $30,000 or $20,000. It wasn't very much, but like I was still like, oh my God. I was still very proud of myself. And what was I gonna say? I was so burnt out. So I thought it wasn't the right thing for me to do. I was resenting it. I was resenting my business. I was resenting having to do client calls every day. I thought it wasn't my purpose, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that it wasn't my purpose. It's that the way that I was running my business wasn't in alignment with the way that I wanted to run my business, if that makes sense. So just decipher with that. Cool. Okay, ladies, I think that's all of the questions. Juicy Live. I love this one. You guys brought fucking epic questions. Thank you. If you have any other questions, quickly leave them because I'm happy to do a few more. I'm leaving Baba open till Tuesday because I had a weird weekend last weekend when I was meant to go away for a girls' weekend, and then I didn't exactly vibe with the location. So I was like, I'm out. So then I got a driver to drive me back to New York. So I was just kind of like, I needed to just like come back to my own energy. It was a whole thing. So I decided it just felt good to leave Baba open up until Tuesday. So you got a few more days to ask me questions. I know it's a big investment, ladies. I like totally understand that. And also like I've shown you guys the portal. If you want me to send you any like little videos of the portal so that you feel comfortable, let me know, because there's now 68 modules, which is a lot, and like they just keep going. So it's definitely money well spent. Okay, what other questions do we have before I go? I need some water. But there's some mezcal there I could just drink instead. What other questions? Any last ones? Tips on negotiation. We're gonna do, actually in Baba, one of the new modules, it's gonna be like legal stuff, like how to talk, how to write emails in like professional, stern boundaries kind of energy, because I've had to deal with a few of those situations, and keeping yourself really calm so you don't get absorbed and dragged down and emotionally drained from these kind of scenarios, because they can be super emotionally draining, especially when you love your work so much. Or especially when someone's like making false statements about you or whatever the situation is. It doesn't matter whether you're hiring someone else and they've gone crazy, or someone's hired you and then they've gone a bit weird. So we're actually going to do that in Baba, because that is a whole lengthy, intense thing, but so important. And I feel like when you understand it and you have tools, it becomes a lot less daunting and a lot less stressful, because you know how to deal with it. Prior to knowing how to communicate properly with like managing employees, communicating, with legal things, communicating with whatever, like difficult people, it was very, very stressful, and I just found it so draining to my energy. But now I don't really care anymore. I sent this question, but it mustn't have shown up. Oh, sorry, Tegan, let me look. Oh wait, I can't see it. If you've sent it again, I can't see it, so I would type it in the box for you. What are some of your favorite qualities about yourself which helped you the most in your business? Oh, I love this question, Nicola. My drive for what I want to achieve and how I want to like help the world, and just like my like visions for humanity, let's say. Like my constant get up and go and drive. Yesterday, I need to post this video on my Instagram story. Yesterday, this car broke down on Spring Street in New York, and Sarah was with me. We were standing outside this shop waiting to like go and get my earrings fixed, the ones that I was saying before that like are infecting my ears. And this car breaks down, and the dude is trying to like, this whole situation's happening, and I'm like, guys, shut the fuck up, stop beeping. This dude's car's broken down. Anyway, so the guy starts to push the car, but he's trying to push the car in his driver's seat, right? And trying to wheel the wheel. And if you've ever tried to push a car that's broken down, it's in neutral. The car's obviously fucking heavy, and the wheel is like so tough to move. So it was just going nowhere. He was trying to get it into a spot, and I'm like, dude, there's no way you can get into this spot. So I literally am like, hold my shit, Zara. So she's filming it, and I'm like, guys, why don't I get in the car and drive, and you four push? Like some men like all jump in. So I'm in this car pushing the car and like steering it like forward into like another spot, and like tooting this guy to get us so he could fucking move his car, because we needed like lots of space to get into the spot so we get off the street. And these dudes are like pushing the car, and Sarah's filming the whole thing, and I get out and it's like, here, Monica. And these two girls next to Sarah said, damn, she has some get up and go. And you hear it on the camera, she just turns to them and she's like, you have no idea. And like that would probably be one of my favorite qualities about myself, is that I have a lot of get up and go. And I would just say that I have so much self-belief. My friends said this to me when they kind of interviewed me for one of their business masterminds. They asked me the same question, and I asked them, like, what do you guys think? Because they asked me, what do you think has got you to where you are? And I said, why don't you guys say, like, tell me the answer, like, you've watched me. And both of them were like, I've never met anyone that believes in themselves so deeply. Like, it doesn't matter what happens or who says what, you believe so deeply in your message and what you're doing in the world and how you're helping people. And that drive and that deep self-belief and self-confidence definitely shows up in your work. And I would wholeheartedly agree with that. And that's why I've been saying that to you guys, that like, you have to back yourself 1,000,001 times over, because if you're doing business hoping someone else is going to back you, that's not going to happen, and you will come up with hurdles. And so I would say that. And then I would also say, Nicola, my big heart. I was saying to my dad on the weekend, I was having I'm in a bit of a situation, and I will explain that once it's over, with a narcissist. And it's like a work kind of scenario. And I said to my dad, my mum asked, what was it? I can't remember how I came up with this conversation. And I was like, oh, I just hate that I trust people so easily. Like, I just thought he would do a good job, because like, I believe everyone's gonna do a good job and be a nice person, because I do a good job and I'm a nice person. And I was like, I really need to stop trusting people and like seeing the best in people all the time. And my dad was actually like, my dad gives really good advice sometimes, just FYI, like really good advice. And my dad turned to me and was like, not turned to me, like on the phone, it was like, Monica, no, you never can change that, because your massive heart is what has made you so much money. And that just landed so true to me, of like, my dad was like, your big heart is what allows people to feel safe to come to you, to trust you. It's how you show up so authentically and with so much love and compassion and just open-mindedness in your business, and that comes across, and that is what has made you so much money. It's the fact that you have such a big fucking heart, and you always see the best in people, and you always believe that people are just trying to do their best, even if they come across to you in like a really rude way. And I was like, that is so fucking true. Like, my big heart sometimes annoys me and gets me into situations where I'm like, I just love everybody like within 10 seconds. But I also think it's one of my best qualities. So thank you for asking me that question. I love it. Okay, and then how to take care about your energy yourself when sick. Maybe how to manage your energy when you're sick. I'm not really sure what that question meant. Can you ask it again? How did you manage all the legal stuff in the first year of business? It seems so complicated. Hire someone that knows how to do it. You just need to have a mentor. You need to have just someone that can just tell you what you need to do and not overcomplicate things. And like, it seems complicated when you don't know it. Everything seems complicated when you don't know it. Like fucking New York can seem complicated if you don't know New York, right? Opening a fucking bank account can seem complicated if you don't know New York. Buying real estate can seem super overwhelming if you don't have a real estate coach or something like that that's gonna help you. Everything can seem overwhelming, but if you have someone that's done it before and that is an expert in it and that knows what to do, it's not overwhelming. Like, trauma is my jam, right? That should be on a t-shirt. Trauma is my jam. Trauma is my jam. So to other people, trauma can seem overwhelming and complicated and messy and gross and just not something you dig into. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That is like the most delicious thing of my fucking day. I love it when people come through with like a jigsaw puzzle and they're like, I don't know why this keeps showing up. I'm like, I'm gonna solve this for you. So you just want to go to someone where like that's their jam, and they will love to sit there and explain it to you again and again and again and again until you get it. Okay. Good advice, Dad. Yes. How do you take care of your energy when you are sick in the moment? Sorry. Okay, cool. So obviously you guys know I now have a personal assistant and an executive assistant, and that has made obviously a really big difference in that I can be sick and have a day off and like shit keeps moving. In the beginning of my business, I would still have times when like I would have to take time off, and my mantra is, well, not my mantra, but like it's like no one's gonna die, right? So like if I'm sick and I have to like cancel my clients and like I can't reply to emails for a day, no one is going to fucking die. And if someone was gonna die, I could quickly email them a response, like I'm sure I'm fine. But like the reality is, our brains think like, oh my God, if I'm sick for a day, something bad's gonna happen, like the business is gonna crumble. Like, no, it's still there. You're allowed to be sick for a day. And the reality is, this is why it's so important to fucking manage your energy and be in your feminine most of the time when you're doing all of these business things, and to have that masculine structure so you can be in your feminine. Because otherwise, if you burn yourself out, like, good luck to you. If you burn yourself out because you don't listen to the signs early enough, and you don't know your own little like intuitive nudges or your little signs of like, Monica, like we're getting a little bit tired, like body needs a break, then you will go to the point of burnout again and again. And then you have to take months off, a year off, right? I've had too many of my clients who have had adrenal fatigue, and that's why they come to me, adrenal like burnout and that kind of stuff. From holding on to so much trauma, from not doing trauma work, from trying to run a business with all of this like validation and abandonment shit going on behind the scenes, and it's just this constant fucking energy leak, right? And it's not until they're able to have this super healthy like dance for themselves, and everyone's dance looks different, right? I want to preface that. This should be we need to make sort of a fucking podcast episode. The sound won't be good, but like I'm just gonna do it anyway. I should have recorded it as a podcast at the same time. I will. We can convert it. Everyone's dance is gonna look different, right? Because everyone's personality and everyone's biology and everyone's idea of alignment is different. Some of you guys, New York would be living hell. To me, it's my vortex. I feel the most grounded, the most relaxed, the most comfortable, the healthiest. My skin is the best. My body is the best. Everything is the best. My relationships are the best. Everything is the fucking best when I'm in New York. Okay? For some people, that's living hell. I don't want to live on a farm in buttfuck nowhere, but for some people, that would be their alignment. So you also need to figure out what your idea of alignment is, live in that, figure that out for yourself, what that looks like, whether it's weekends off, whether it's Thursday, Friday off and you work weekends, whether it's taking 1 week off every month, whatever it is, you have to know your own kind of schedule and what your own body needs, and then be doing that, and then you will avoid burnout. And I will help you do that if you need help doing that, if you're doing Baba. So you have to figure out your unique kind of blueprint for running a feminine-based business with that masculine structure, and then embody it and live it out, and you'll be good to go. Okay. I feel like I have everything. I feel like you have everything figured out. Do you think you still have a lot to learn in life? Of course I have a lot to learn in life. Like, there'll be things where I will like have new experiences. I mean, I'm gonna say generally, when people meet me or they are clients of mine or whatever, kind of after the container ends, I've had it so many times that it's said to me like, are you sure you're 24? Like, even just like people I've met for like 3 days, are you sure you're 24? I'm like, yeah, like the shit that comes out of your mouth, the way that you hold yourself, blah, 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 you do really not seem 24. And I'm like, I know. I would say, is it Trish? Tish. I would say, Tish, that I've had a lot of experiences, like what I was saying, of like quantum leap, like condensed time, in my life. I've been in and out of hospital 13 times. We've moved countries multiple times. I've moved schools so many times. I did a lot of trauma healing in a very short period of time. I go really deep with myself. I am an all or nothing kind of person. So all of those experiences have made me, who I am today. And it's allowed me to get places really quickly and grow up fast and just seem older than I am. I still have a childhood, and I still play with my inner child, like now even. I still have a lot of fun in my life. I'm not like some serious fucking weird person like that. I'm not like that at all. I definitely still have a lot to learn in life. I don't think that I know everything by any means. But I will say I don't feel like I don't have any big traumas to still heal. Otherwise I wouldn't be an embodiment of what I do, right? Like, maybe, I know there's going to be trauma around COVID when I see my family again for the first time. It'll probably be like over 2 years by then. So I know there'll be some trauma that'll be definitely brought up that I've suppressed, but that's a coping mechanism, as I was saying to my girls yesterday. So that's nothing, I'm not doing anything wrong by doing that. Me not suppressing it would be doing something wrong because it would eat away at me, versus what I'm doing right now is actually the best thing for me to do. And then I will heal that when I need to heal it. But other than that, like, I don't know, does that kind of answer your question? I will say though, I don't have everything figured out. I do not have everything figured out. Oh my God. when people get to really know me, especially men, they're like, God, how do you run a fucking business? Like, they're like, you need help, you have so many questions. Like, I mean, but they also know that I just like them to do everything for me. But I definitely do not have everything figured out, and I have a lot of people that I ask for help. And I am never afraid to ask for help. I absolutely do not have everything figured out by any means. I'm just very good at being responsive and not reactive. I've trained myself. I used to be very, very reactive. Now I'm not anymore. Okay. How do you learn all the modalities that you know? Tying this question. They're all like intuitive downloads. Like I've made literally, I would say 95% of the modalities that I use, I have just made them up, and I've seen them work like thousands of times now. So yeah, they're all made up. Okay, cool, great, beautiful. Okay, ladies, well, I am going to head off. So have a lovely day. Have a lovely day. Thank you all for joining. I hope that this was juicy and helpful, and you got some good chicken nuggets and you got the vibes. So Baba Close on Tuesday. I would love, those of you that know that you're meant to be in it, I would absolutely welcome you with open arms. I'd love to be able to help you and support you, and be able to answer all your questions on an even deeper level, and be able to give you very, very specific advice, obviously, to your business, because I would know your business. So closed on Tuesday, won't be open until sometime next year. Don't know when, so don't ask me when, because I don't know. And we get to do the Zoom calls in my New York apartment, and we've got some extra modules that'll be recorded as well live in the Facebook group, which will also be done in my beautiful apartment. So I'm very excited for those new modules. But yeah, please guys, no questions are off limits. So please, any questions, feel free to DM them to me so that I can answer them. Just remember that I don't work on weekends, so you need to get your questions in by Friday. Otherwise, I'll reply to them on Monday, and then you'll have to do a quick turnaround with getting payment and contracts in to join. But little reminder, you've got 68 modules in the group in the portal. Everything is broken down so it's digestible and easy to find, so you can go back and easily find things. Then we have the monthly Zoom calls, which is where we do all the healing. We do the inner child healing in relation to your business. We do throat chakra opening, so you find it easier to speak online and speak your truth and all that jazz for selling and all that kind of stuff. We do DNA upgrades. We do breath work so we can let go, and so then we can then rebuild and like embody what you want to embody and manifest and all that jazz. Plenty of Q&A time, specific advice. Like, I'm actually answering your specific questions, so you guys can just ask me some specific questions that come up for you. Yeah, it's all in there. Cool. And then you also get the one-on-one. Don't forget, you also have a one-on-one with me. And then in the one-on-one, you can do anything. It can be like trauma stuff. It can be business stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. You can do whatever you want with me in the one-on-one. Okay. Have a lovely rest of your day. I will see you guys all soon. Thank you for joining. And don't forget that there's a few podcasts up. We've uploaded quite a few in a short period of time. So don't forget to also check them out, because they are juicy chicken nuggets. Have a good day.